Today, I am ranking Star Wars for about 1 hour, so I hope you enjoy.
Today, I am ranking every single Star Wars The Clone Wars character on a tier list, going from S being the best and D being the absolute worst. We are starting off with Ahsoka Tano. Now, that's going to be an easy S tier to start off with, because who doesn't love Ahsoka Tano? We saw her in the Clone Wars movie, and we saw her growing up throughout the Clone Wars and going on to be pretty much a very mature Jedi, no longer a Jedi, previous Jedi, whatever you want to call her. But she is probably the best character throughout the whole Clone Wars series. Now, another S tier character, we're just going to go and say Anakin Skywalker, because Anakin was amazing. And I'm going to go and say this part right here. Whenever Anakin tried to save Ahsoka, and no one else believed her besides Anakin, that was probably the best. And whenever he was the son, whatever that episode, whenever we saw the son, the father, and the sister, that was an amazing episode, especially with them three plus Kenobi. That was very, very awesome. And I believe that's where this is from, when he was part of the sun and he saw the future. But yeah, all in all, Anakin was an amazing character throughout the Clone Wars. Next, we have Yoda, which I'm going to go and put him in A tier. We don't really see him much in the Clone Wars. We only saw him was probably in episode 1 of the Clone Wars, whenever he was fighting Asajj Ventress and he was on a race to get the Republic aid at that planet. And probably near the end of the Battle of Coruscant in the 2003 Clone Wars show, which is no longer canon. But I don't really recall seeing him in really much action throughout the Clone Wars, really. There's sometimes when he is, but that's really about it. So yeah. Next, we have this bounty hunter right here. Beskar, I think that's what his name is. But yeah, we have Beskar. I remember the only time when he captured Ahsoka, brought him to the planet in the Outer Rim, and pretty much catched him like the Hunger Games and shoot to kill, pretty much. So, yeah. Next, we have Darth Maul, another S tier character. First time we saw him out of the Phantom Menace, he got his legs back, and he played a very, very important role throughout the whole Clone Wars, especially being the leader of Mandalore, and literally stabbing Obi-Wan's girl in the chest like it's nothing. She died in 2 seconds. Then next we have the sister. Now I'm going to just go and put her at S tier, only because of the reason she saved Ahsoka's life, and that's why she has the bird. So yeah, Kit Fisto. A lot of these are probably going to go in S tier, but you're going to have to find out in which, if your favorite character goes in the S tier category. But next we have Kit Fisto. I'm going to put him at A tier because he literally did fight off General Grievous like it was nothing. And he almost killed General Grievous if he didn't leave and get his droids to fight for him. And then he was one of the first to discover how Jedis work underwater, so that was even amazing. And yeah, and he played a massive role in the Battle of Calamari. So yeah, he was a great, great leader throughout the Clone Wars. R2-D2, do I even have to explain why he's going to S tier? Because I don't think I have to, but yeah. Padme, another S tier character because she's hot. Asajj Ventress. A lot of these characters are going to go in S tier, just like Asajj Ventress. Now, she was the first Sith assassin of Count Dooku, being an amazing, amazing Sith assassin. Although sometimes she did go a little bit too far, and therefore Count Dooku kind of had to get rid of her, and she faked her death, I believe, so Count Dooku killed her, and yeah, she faked her death, and then she came back to kill Count Dooku and get revenge. But then she came back to the light later in the Bad Batch, so yeah, S tier character. Chancellor Palpatine, A tier. He was on both sides of the war, and the Republic didn't even know that, and yeah, A tier, for sure. Commander Cody, C tier, only because he executed Order 66, but also he was a good leader throughout the 212th First Army, so A tier for sure. Master Luminara. I like her because she fought. She is one that I might just put in C tier because she gave up on Ahsoka. When Ahsoka and Barriss Offee were down there in the hole, she literally gave up on them, while Anakin told the 501st to literally go find them. She just gives up too easily, so that's why she's going into C tier. Now this Hut right here, she was just annoying. D tier, she was annoying, very, very annoying. Count Dooku, S tier, very, very good, honestly, throughout the whole Clone Wars. I believe that's Eth Koth. B tier. Oh, the father, A tier, yeah. He was in the middle between the light and the dark. He was the one that controlled it all. And he was going to give that power to Anakin, but he said no. and then the father died, and then Anakin became the chosen one anyway, which he was already the chosen one, but now he had a lot of power, especially from the father. So yeah. Now we have your favorite pirate, Hondo. Who doesn't love good old Hondo? We're going to put him in the A tier. Next we have Savage Opress. He really only lasted through about one season until Palpatine literally killed him because he saw Darth Maul going right behind his back and trying to set up a whole army to try and go against Palpatine. So yeah, B tier. General Grievous, I'm honestly going to put in S tier. He was great throughout the whole Clone Wars, honestly. It was wonderful. So yeah, Cad Bane, another great, wonderful bounty hunter, S tier. Now, back when I tried to record this and my audio was not even recording, and I should have checked that before I started recording, Cad Bane is an amazing bounty hunter. There's a lot to say. He captured a lot of Jedi younglings without even the Jedi knowing and trying to stop the Jedi. But then Cad Bane also broke out of prison from the Republic prison. And then he tried to capture Omega in the Bad Batch, and he shot Hunter. And then, in the Book of Boba Fett, that's where they killed him off, and that's when... But we're talking about Clone Wars characters. We're talking about during the Clone Wars. And then he had balls, big balls enough to go and sneak into the Senate and literally take hostages of all the Senates and then blow the place. So, and then he captured a Jedi holocron. All in all, Cad Bane was an amazing, amazing bounty hunter. Next, we have the Night Sister. Now, yeah, A tier. I liked it whenever she controlled Count Dooku with a voodoo doll. That was pretty cool. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, the master negotiator himself. We're going to put him probably up here with them three. He played a wonderful role, especially Obi-Wan versus General Grievous every now and then throughout the Clone Wars. That was amazing. But, I mean, there's not really anything bad to say about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, Pong Krell, he's terrible. Now, I'll tell you why he's terrible. He got the clones in the Battle of Uganda. I believe that's what it's called, the Battle of Uganda. He got the clones to kill each other. And he said the clones were dressed up as droids to make sure they were trying to hide and go into their base and try and sneak in. But no, Pong Krell had the audacity to get clones to kill each other, and Rex had to find out. So I think Fives was the one that shot him, and I'm so glad he did, because I hate Pong Krell. I hate Pong Krell. Next we have Pre Vizsla, B tier. Now Captain Rex, he's going to go up here with the boys, probably, yeah, right there. This is the 4, plus Commander Cody, the 5 in the whole Clone Wars. Captain Rex is an amazing captain, especially near the end of the Clone Wars when he was commander, but saved Ahsoka and went out with Ahsoka and faked his death. But the best part was whenever he discovered, when he got mad in Pong Krell, and the Rex versus Pong Krell became a whole thing, he hated Pong Krell because his brothers were dying in front of him, and he didn't want to listen to... He was listening to Pong Krell because he was a general and he had respect for him. But when he saw that, he lost respect for the whole thing, which I just thought was absolutely amazing. Next, we have the black guy himself, Mace Windu. This is... I'm going to put him lower, probably A tier. Next, we have 3PO, S tier. Very well S tier character. Next, we have the son. Not the brother, the son. Yeah, the son. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. We have the son. Now, the son played a big role in that whole arc where he was trying to get Anakin and showed Anakin the future, and then Anakin turned to the dark side, and then the son got killed at the end with Anakin, I believe. So, yeah. Now we have this Jedi right here, Ayla Secura. She played a big part in, I believe, Season 1, and that's about it. That's the only time I ever saw her, but she has big breasts, so she's going to go into A tier. Now, last, but definitely not least, we have Boba Fett. Now, we're talking about the child Boba Fett, which he was trying to kill Mace Windu because of Jango Fett, but then he ended up blowing up a whole Republic cruiser, and then he escaped. Then he kept running away. I mean, he was a child, but yeah. All in all, I'm probably going to actually lower him down to B tier. But there we go. There's me ranking mostly every single Clone Wars character inside of Star Wars The Clone Wars. So, yeah, if you did enjoy, leave a like, I guess, if people say that anymore.
Today, my friends, I am ranking every single character from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith on a tier list from S to F, S being the best and F being the worst. Since the 20th anniversary is just right around the corner, I decided to do this. So first, we got the unseat of Luke Skywalker. Now, my views basically of these characters are going to be the perspective of the movie. No other movie. These views will be mine of the movie. How their character is throughout the movie. That's it. No Attack of the Clones, no The Phantom Menace, none of that. My views will only be attached to what they represent in the movie. So first, we see Auntie Loris from... Really, just at the very end of the movie, we didn't really see much of her, so that would just be an easy C tier character. We didn't see much of her. Now, however, 3PO we did see quite a bit of, but he didn't really play a big role in this movie. Not unlike R2-D2. He didn't really play, he kind of just helped Padme along the way and just really was just a sidekick to Padme. So, since 3PO is a great character all around, I'll put him in A tier. That's as high as I can go since he didn't do really much of anything else. So, yeah, I feel like that's good. Now, Commander Cody. Now, for what he did to Obi-Wan, this is not from the Clone Wars. This is from this movie. D. I'll put him at C. Now, Commander Cody, he executed Order 66, decided to shoot at Obi-Wan, and guess what? It didn't go so well now, did it? But the other thing is that he was one of the few clones that actually regretted Order 66, because right before Order 66 was executed, he gave Obi-Wan his lightsaber. Well, back his lightsaber, which was probably the worst mistake ever, where Obi-Wan could actually get out. Anyway, let's go to Count Dooku. Now, Count Dooku, a wonderful S-tier character, most definitely. Now, the reason is because, we did really kind of see him throughout just basically the intro of the movie, but what he played to actually kind of just go and, I guess, capture Palpatine when he did, and then Anakin decided to duel him, and then Anakin eventually decapitated him. But I don't understand the part why Count Dooku didn't rat out Palpatine, because at that point, when he was silenced and was shocked, when he was about to get decapitated, he was just in shock. He didn't know what to do. He could have told the Jedi that, yeah, Palpatine is the Emperor and will be the secret Sith Lord who will take over and have the new Galactic Empire. But no, he didn't. I don't know why he didn't, but yeah. Anyway, S tier for Count Dooku. Next, General Grievous. Oh, General Grievous was most definitely a menacing character inside of Star Wars Episode 3. You got Obi-Wan versus General Grievous at the end, where Obi-Wan finally defeats Grievous. Then you have the intro where Grievous has the Battle of Coruscant, where it goes and captures Palpatine. Definitely S tier. Most definitely. Now, Master Forehead, D tier. He deserved to die. I don't like him. He deserved to die. Mace Windu, on the other hand, I can't put him any higher than S tier, because he could have easily killed Palpatine. Or he could have easily gave Anakin the rank of Master. Now, the rank of Master Anakin would have he didn't deserve that. I'm going to be honest with you. Anakin didn't deserve the rank of Master, but he could have easily defeated Palpatine if Anakin didn't come and actually come in and kill Mace Windu and chop his hand off and throw him down the balcony of a Senate building. That would have been, he could easily overtaken Palpatine. If he didn't have that a little extra help, he could have easily. So that's why he's a little rank lower. And he was just it was definitely great. He was a great Jedi duelist. But other than that, yeah, he could have easily... Heck, he could have easily sensed what was going on with Palpatine, but he didn't. And I don't know why he did not. But yeah, anyway, S tier. Next, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. He took two Sith Lords in this movie. He took General Grievous, which is kind of a Sith assassin, I guess. Sith Lord, kind of, sort of. I wouldn't really call him a Sith Lord, but you know what I mean. And then next, he took out Anakin, which at this point was Lord Vader. He took him out for the first time out of the 3 times he's going to take him out. So yeah, definitely wonderful. S tier, S tier, S tier. Now we have Bail Organa. He played kind of a basic role of a Senate who tried to stop the Empire from taking over. So I feel like a B tier definitely does represent his character. Now, Uncle Owen, another C tier character. He didn't play a big part in this movie in A New Hope he did, but this movie he didn't really play A New Hope. Now, Padme Amidala, she's hot, so definitely S tier, most definitely. Now, Emperor Palpatine, or Darth Sidious. In this time period, we finally get to see who his true identity is, which is a Sith Lord. I cannot wait to see that in theaters. I cannot wait to see this whole movie in theaters April 25th. Yeah, but anyway, in this movie, we see his true identity whenever Mace Windu throws back the lightning, and his Force identity is revealed of the Sith Lord of Darth Sidious. He goes on and fights Yoda. I feel like Yoda could have over easily taken him, so that's why I'm going to skip a few tier lists. I'm going to throw Yoda A tier because he could have easily figured out who Palpatine was. But you know what? Yeah. Anyway, Palpatine S tier, most definitely. R2D2, another SD character. He has been throughout every movie, especially this one. He has been beside Anakin, and R2D2's saddest moment of this movie was when Anakin told R2 to stay at the ship, and he didn't come back. Now that, my friend, was very, very sad. Next we have, okay, it looks like we're using two different, we're using Chancellor Palpatine now. Chancellor Palpatine, on the other hand, yeah, I'll throw him up here. He did the grooming of Anakin. He told Anakin about the Darth Plagueis the Wise. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, but my autism kicked in. So yeah, he told the story about Darth Plagueis the Wise and how he could save Padme from ultimate death and how he could overtake and have this ability to bring the dead back to life, which in reality was a bunch of dumb crap in order to bring Anakin to closer and closer to the dark side. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, S tier. Next we have Nute Gunray, who was just very well an annoying character, B tier. Finally, we have Anakin Skywalker, the one we've all been waiting for. I'll throw him up in S tier, just right beside Obi-Wan. Anakin, well, now here's the thing. At the beginning of this movie, he was the hero who took out Count Dooku and finally brought this war to an end. Well, not necessarily. Throughout the movie, he believed everything what Palpatine told him about bringing the dead back to life and how he could save Padme from the ultimate death that she is going to receive at the end of the movie. But however, as we all know, that didn't really work. And then he goes on to slay the younglings. He helps the 501st Legion take out the Jedi Temple. And he goes on to confront Obi-Wan, which doesn't really work out in his favor because he loses all of his limbs and Obi-Wan plays Fruit Ninja on him, and then he ultimately becomes the Sith Lord that we all know and love, Darth Vader. So yeah, there we go. Here's my tier list. Star Wars Episode 3 characters on a tier list from S to F. Bye! Today, I am ranking every single Star Wars movie on a tier list from S to F, S being the best and F being the worst. First off, we have The Force Awakens. Now, The Force Awakens was actually a good movie of the sequel trilogy. It led us all to believe that it was like a New Hope of the new sequel trilogy. It was an exact same copy of A New Hope, and I think that's why we all liked it, because it was definitely a New Hope copycat. But other than that, I mean, we got a symbol of who Rey really is, but we all thought Finn was going to be a great character, but he wasn't. And then we saw the Hitler salute whenever all the First Order troopers did the salute to General Hux. So, yeah, that was very cool and diminishing. And we all saw Kylo Ren, which was... we all thought he was going to be something cool, but then J.J. Abrams kind of turned him into something that was not really... no, just no. So, yeah. B tier. That's definitely a good B tier of the new sequel trilogy. Now, if this tier list went lower, I would put this in the F because I hate The Last Jedi. The Battle of Crate is one of the worst battles ever in Star Wars. It was kind of like a Empire Strikes Back Battle of Hoth copycat where the Resistance just fled to a whole nother place, but that didn't really... the Battle of Crate was stupid. It really... there was so many stuff going on in that battle that was terrible. Literally, why would they get these old hunk-of-junk little starships that are on the floor but can't fly? They were dragging across the floor to go fight the Resistance, but then everyone at all the First Order troops were firing at them, but yet somehow they have all the plot armor in the world the Resistance had. If they didn't have plot armor, the First Order would literally straight up destroy them, but guess what? They have plot armor, and J.J. Abrams didn't really think about that. They would got destroyed in 2 seconds, because the First Order is way stronger than the Resistance. They really are. And then we have Luke, on the other hand, which Kylo Ren just stabs him literally in the chest, and Luke Skywalker dies somehow because he gets high off the Force, which I don't understand. Mark Hamill said it himself, Luke Skywalker died because he got high off the Force. High. He got high with drugs off the Force. How does that even make sense? And then before that, Luke was training Rey to become this new hope of a Jedi. And Rey's not a Jedi at all. He's just not. And then Finn dies, but then comes back to life as well.
there's a whole bunch in that movie that goes on that I hate, that we probably all hate. So yeah, that's why it's going into D. So along with The Rise of Skywalker. Now, The Rise of Skywalker is a little bit better than The Last Jedi, but we all know why we hate it. The movie destroys the whole point of what Anakin was. Anakin was the chosen one. He was the one to destroy the Sith. And guess what? Emperor Palpatine returns. So that destroys the whole point of what Anakin and or Darth Vader became. Became the chosen one to bring balance back to the Force, but guess what? Palpatine returned. So I don't really understand that point at all and how that makes sense. But you know what? Whatever. D tier. Now, let's get into the original trilogy. A New Hope. What a masterpiece of a movie. We all loved it. It was the first Star Wars ever, so I'm going to throw it in an A tier. It wasn't the best, but it definitely started something that was all true to us of Star Wars. So, yeah. A New Hope, A tier. Next, we have The Empire Strikes Back. I'm going to go and call this a masterpiece. Because it was. We saw Luke and Darth Vader. We saw what Darth Vader truly is becoming. And he is way stronger. This is probably the highest Darth Vader we have probably ever seen, after just right before A New Hope and right after A New Hope. It's the strongest we've probably ever seen, and we saw the kind of sort of the inner conflict in him, but not as much as we saw in Return of the Jedi. He met Luke. Luke was amazing. He became this nonchalant Jedi. Now he's trained to become one of the best Jedi ever, but he is definitely internal conflict. If he doesn't get trained to become this Jedi that Yoda and Obi-Wan wants him to be, he will no longer be A New Hope, and the Sith will take over. I also forgot to mention that this movie reveals that Darth Vader is Luke's father, which is one of the best pieces of cinema ever. It's just a masterpiece of a movie. It really is. So definitely S tier for The Empire Strikes Back. Now, along with Return of the Jedi, definitely an S tier of a movie. It's wonderful. It really is. First, we start off with the Sarlacc pit. Now, that is probably one of the best battles, just short battles, that is in the movie, and definitely is great. It's short and simple. I just love Luke's little flip, because that flip recognizes something that Anakin did back in the Clone Wars, and Luke turning Darth Vader back to the light. He was the only one that could turn Darth Vader back to the light, and guess what? He did. He was great at what he did. He was wonderful at what he did. Luke was the best he has ever been throughout. Then the sequel trilogy ruined him, but this is the best Luke we have ever seen. Darth Vader was an internal conflicted character, but then he became the chosen one. He threw Palpatine down the reactor shaft, and he became the chosen one. So yeah, wonderful. Next, we have the Phantom Menace. Now, Duel of the Fates. I can go and tell you, the Duel of Fates was the best duel out there in Star Wars. I will throw it at it. It's better than New Hope. They're both there, but shots wise and battle wise, it's definitely better than A New Hope, because it is. It started off the best timeline in the Star Wars history. Duel of the Fates is the best, and it introduced one of my favorite characters, Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is an amazing character, and it is. I don't see how people get annoyed by him. He's funny, he's great, and he's a wonderful character throughout the whole movie. He may get annoying sometimes, but that's really it. Qui-Gon, we saw the first time seeing Anakin throughout the whole movie. Anakin was a great character, and so was Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon was this great Jedi who didn't believe anything of the Jedi Council, because at this point the Jedi were blinded by politics and didn't really understand the Sith were coming back. They were too annoyed by the politics, didn't understand the Sith. They were too blinded. The whole fact. Qui-Gon had to train this boy that they found, which was Anakin Skywalker, who was true to become the prophecy of the chosen one. Next, we have Attack of the Clones. Now, that, I'm going to throw that in B tier. I don't like the sequel trilogy, so it's going to go above TFA. The best thing on that movie was the Battle of Geonosis, when the clone troopers came and saved the Jedi. That was the best thing that happened in that whole movie. It really was. The Battle of Geonosis was the best. No other thing in that movie was really going on. We just saw love, relationships, and that was about it. This was George Lucas's love story of Star Wars. Anakin and Padme, they got married, they smashed, they have kids. That was really the whole point of that movie. Really. Most of the deleted scenes were about Anakin and Padme. Anakin meeting Padme's parents and all that. So, yeah. You know what time it is? S tier time, baby. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Do I really have to explain why it's the best movie ever in Star Wars history? Do I really got to explain why it's the best movie? The Battle on Mustafar. Obi-Wan between Anakin. The best duel in Star Wars history. Order 66. The start of the movie, Obi-Wan and Anakin trying to save Palpatine over the Battle of Coruscant. The clone troopers, we got big introduced into Commander Cody. We didn't see much of Rex, but let me tell you, this was the best movie in Star Wars history. It is. It's just a masterpiece, and it sets up for A New Hope at the end. It's a masterpiece of a movie. It really is. Next, we have Rogue One, the best Disney Star Wars movie there is. I'm just going to put it under Revenge of the Sith. And I will tell you why. The Darth Vader hallway scene. That is the best scene in Star Wars. It is. Now Solo. C tier. Honestly, I didn't really like that movie. I've only watched it once, and let me tell you, when I watched it, I got bored. They were trying to tell a story behind Han Solo, but it got boring. It really did. But yeah, there you go. There's my tier list of Star Wars movies on S to F. Bye!
Today, my friends, I am ranking every single Star Wars final scene on a tier list from S to F. You know how the rankings go, so I know you're not dumb. So, this is going based off the final ending scene as a whole, as in a screenshot. These kind of reset every single one of them right before this, but hey, you know what? That's all right. That's okay. That's okay. So first off, we have The Last Jedi, which I can't even tell who or what that is, because I hate The Last Jedi. I really do. The Last Jedi is the worst movie out of all the movies there is. Out of all the 12 movies, this is the worst. And I can't even tell what's going on here. I can't even tell who that is in that last scene. That's probably the amount of times. I think that might be Rey. I don't really know who that is. It might be Luke. Heck if I know. I can't tell you, but that's going in D tier. That's not even a good movie at all. Next, we have an actual really good movie, which is obviously Return of the Jedi. We all know the scene. The Battle of Endor got ending. The rebellion destroyed the Empire, and we have this good old little screenshot of the family of Han Solo, Leia, Luke, Han, C-3PO, R2, a little good old Ewok down there, and I think that's Lando Calrissian right there. A nice little good old screenshot. That's fun and family. It's an OG, so that's definitely going to go in our first S tier of this tier list. Now, I think this is the Rise of Skywalker whenever Rey turns to Luke and Leia and says, "Rey, my name is Rey Skywalker. How are you a Skywalker? You cannot be a Palpatine and a Skywalker at the same time. You just can't do that." And they look. You should have said Palpatine, not even, or Rey the Scavenger. But the old lady has to say, everyone has the last name, and guess what? She's a Skywalker. She is not a Skywalker. Jar Jar Binks is more of a Skywalker than she ever has been. She is not no Skywalker. And I saw an argument on, what was it, Facebook. Yes, I'm old, okay? It says, oh, if Padme can be a... Padme? No, Leia can be a Skywalker because Leia is an Amidala. No, she's a Skywalker, okay? But she took on the name because she was adopted. I don't even want to hear that. Rey is nowhere close to a Skywalker. Jar Jar Binks is more of a Skywalker than she ever will be. So that's another S tier. I mean F tier. F tier, not S tier. F as in F. F. Now next, I would assume this is Attack of the Clones. That's going to go in B tier. Attack of the Clones. I mean, in this frame, there is really... We kind of just know what the war is about to happen in the next 3 years of the Clone Wars. This is what starts it all. All the clones are being made by one single, which is Jango Fett. He created all the clones, and now war is about to begin, because this is right after the Battle of Geonosis. The clones and the Jedi are now in this war against the Separatists. So going based off the screenshot, though, I mean, it's just clones. We don't really know who they are. This could be Rex for all we know. This could be Cody. This could be Wolves. Who knows? But yeah, B tier. I think that's a good B tier little screenshot there. Next, we have Revenge of the Sith. Now, that frame, Revenge of the Sith is a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's probably gonna go in A tier. I mean, while yes, they have, this is Uncle Owen and Belarus. Heck, Owen and Belarus, I think that's what their names are. But anyway, they're holding Luke Skywalker and looking at the sunset, which is very good, because this kind of goes on to see, this kind of tells a story that Luke may be the chosen one to bring balance back to the Force and destroy the Sith. So yeah, actually, we'll go up to an S tier. Yeah. Now this had potential. We'll throw it in C tier. That's the ending of Force Awakens whenever Rey gives a lightsaber to Luke Skywalker. This had potential. But guess what? No, it didn't. What we saw in The Last Jedi is terrible. This set up a great movie. I remember seeing this in theaters. And I remember, why did they do this? Why? Why was this ending like this? Why? But no. It starts off the worst sequel trilogy we will ever get in the Star Wars timeline. They should just restart the sequels, I swear. Now, next we have a Princess Leia CGI. Now, they did great with this CGI. A lot of people give this crap because of how terrible it looks, but I think Leia looks pretty good in this CGI. But yeah, no, Leia being the rebellion, and she got the disc to give to R2-D2 and then give to Obi-Wan. It's the plans to the Death Star that she gives to R2. We know how the whole story goes. But yeah, I think that's a pretty well good, and it's definitely going to go in A tier because Rogue One is just a great movie all in all. Now, The Empire Strikes Back. I'm going to say A. Probably above Rogue One. But the ending is, they're just staring in the abyss. They're actually looking at the Lando and Chewie going on the Millennium Falcon, going to rescue Han Solo and Jabba's hut, but on Tatooine. But yeah, I think A tier is a good one for that one. Now, The Phantom Menace, another B tier. They're celebrating that now the droids are gone off Naboo, and the Republic has took back Naboo. And I mean, they're just celebrating. That's really all this screen. It's better than Attack of the Clones, but I think it's a good B tier. Honestly, there's not really much going on in the frame in general. But yeah, I think B tier is good. Next we have Solo, another C tier. Yeah, better than The Force Awakens. No, it's not. Solo is, yeah. It's a little worse than The Force Awakens. I've only watched this film once, and it's just Han Solo and Chewie just going into hyperspace, and that's really about it. There's not much going on at all, and yeah. Next, we have A New Hope. Now, I'm going to put this in S. Yeah, this starts off the whole Star Wars trilogy we know and love. Han and Luke and Chewie also getting medals for destroying the Death Star and joining the rebellion. Them being the top generals of the rebellion now, I think. But yeah, they all did good. They destroyed the Death Star. That's why they got their medals. And now it starts off this whole trilogy. The Empire Strikes Back. It starts it all. That's why it should just go in S tier. It's nice. Okay. But anyway, there's my tier list. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Today, we are ranking every single lightsaber hilt in Star Wars, going on a tier list from S to F. S being the best and F being the absolute worst. But before we do that, now, let's start with, at the very end, let's start with Yoda's lightsaber. Now, this lightsaber just literally looks like an Anakin copycat, so it's just going to go into probably C tier. I like Yoda, and that's the only reason why it's going into C tier. Next, we have Asajj Ventress's bent lightsabers. These are the second bent lightsabers that are in the whole of Star Wars in reality, and they're very cool. The first dual-wield bent lightsabers we've seen. So, for their uniqueness, I'm going to go on A tier, not so S tier, because it's a copycat of Count Dooku's, because obviously she was his apprentice, so it makes sense in the end. So, yeah, it's going to go into A tier. Next, we have Qui-Gon Jinn's original lightsaber, B tier. I don't really like the look of this. It looks dull. It doesn't have really any much color. It's not very unique. It just looks big and bulky. So that's why it's going to go into B tier for bulky. Next, we have the Jedi Temple Guard lightsabers that go into dual wield whenever you hit them. I like it, but not as clear as Palpatine's lightsaber, but it's okay. I'm going to be honest. It's very well okay all around. So we'll throw it in a B tier as well. This is another Anakin copycat lightsaber. There is a bunch of them on here. But it's just another Anakin copycat. Like, I don't understand why we have so many Anakin copycats. It's another one. Someone put it in C tier, because it's literally a copycat. Next, we have another, in reality, kind of a... I don't really know who this one is in reality anyway. It just looks like a dual-wield Anakin. I think this is Rey's lightsaber whenever she saw herself in the reflection, I believe. But other than that, I really don't know where this came from. So, B tier. Yeah, we'll throw it in B. And we have these little, these right here, I'm not a big fan of. They're just going to go in F, because I'm definitely not a big fan of them at all, really. Next, we have Rey's lightsaber. I hate Rey, and we all know why. F. Most definitely F. It's just, this lightsaber is big and bulky, and it's huge. There's no need for that huge of a lightsaber for a character that had no point being in the sequel trilogy. So, most definitely F. And this being Luke Skywalker's, Anakin's, I'm going to put that in a D, only because Rey owned it, but that's about it. That's why it's going in a D. No other reason. I just don't like Rey, but this lightsaber has a lot of history behind it, so D as high as I can put it. Next, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber. Now, his third and final lightsaber, I really like his lightsaber. This lightsaber looks great, and it's kind of just looks like Luke's lightsaber, and I just love it. It's S tier, most definitely. It's very well unique, straightforward, and all around just great. So, definitely S tier for that lightsaber. Now, second one just looks as identical. What would you go and put in an A tier? It's just as identical as that one. Now, his very first one, based off of Qui-Gon's, I'm going to go on rapid fire through these. C tier. It's big and bulky like this one, and just like Qui-Gon's, I'll put it at B tier at best, but I don't really like it at all. It's not very clean and unique, I'm gonna be honest with you, so B tier most definitely. Next we have, is this Mace Windu's? It kind of, no. Is it Mace Windu's? This looks like Mace Windu's lightsaber, and I believe it is. So if it's Mace Windu's, we'll put it in A tier at best. It just looks like another Anakin copycat with a little bit gold on top of it, but other than that, it's the first purple lightsaber we have seen throughout all of Star Wars, most definitely, especially on screen and film. So that's why it's going to go in an A tier, just above probably Obi-Wan's, but definitely behind Asajj Ventress's. But other than that, it looks cool. It's the very first purple lightsaber, but the hilt, on the other hand, is not very creative at all. So yeah, most definitely A tier at the top. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, I'm going to put in S tier, because who doesn't love Luke Skywalker until the sequel trilogies? I'm not even going to count the sequel trilogies for Luke Skywalker, but the lightsaber all around looks great, and it's very well wonderful. So, yeah. Next, we have another Luke Skywalker lightsaber. This is Anakin's Luke Skywalker, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to put this a lot higher, most likely at A tier, just above Obi-Wan Kenobi's. Actually, I'll probably put it behind. I like it. You know, it's clean and it's unique, and it owns one Luke. This Rey one, however, is not the best. Trust me, it's not good. It's very well not good. The Lego lightsaber, however, S tier. I love the good old Lego hilt, especially in all the video games. I love the hilt. It's nice, it's unique, and I like it. It's big. That's what it reminds me of. It's nice. But anyway, Kylo Ren's lightsaber. I like Kylo Ren. It's the best thing that came out of the sequel trilogy. If you want my intake on sequel trilogy, it's the best thing that came out of the sequel trilogy, most definitely. S tier. I like it. I love it. It's unique. I love how the Kylo Ren bled his kyber crystal so much that he had to have two endings in the hilt just so it actually worked. So S tier. Yes. Kanan Jarrus's lightsaber. I love Kanan. S tier. Just because I really love Kanan. Now, the Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber, they're alright. A is the highest I can get, because I got tired of them after seeing them multiple times throughout the whole little trilogy between A New Hope and the prequels. I got tired of seeing them, so A tier at the best for me. Now, Kit Fisto's lightsabers, we have this one, which it's alright. I'll put it in probably B tier. It looks nice. Other than that, along with that one, they're alright. Now, these on the other end, I hate. Now we have Ezra Bridger's second lightsaber and his first lightsaber. I'll rank his first lightsaber at most definitely S tier, just behind Kanan. Actually, if we're going based off of uniqueness, I'll put it in front of S tier. I like this lightsaber. It's the first lightsaber we see that's just made out of parts on a ship, really. It's a gun and a lightsaber at the same time. You can swap between them or whatever you want. It's just nice and it looks cool. So S tier. Next, we have Ezra Bridger's second lightsaber. It looks like Kanan's lightsaber all around, so I'll put it in S tier, just behind Kanan Jarrus's. Now we have Palpatine's gold-silver lightsaber. I'll put that at A tier, just because I'm not a big fan of Palpatine, but I do like its lightsaber and how it just looks. And fun fact about this lightsaber, he used a material that the Jedi hated that he wanted to use just to piss off the Jedi. So yeah, definitely a good old A tier. Now we have, what is this? Another Yoda Luke Skywalker lightsaber. I swear to God, I've seen these multiple times. I'm tired of seeing them. C tier. Now we have Darth Maul's lightsaber from the prequels. A nice double-bladed lightsaber. The first time we've ever seen one ever on film, most definitely. So S tier. All around, just behind Kylo Ren's, but they're very, very cool. Very cool. Now the Darksaber. Since it's Black History Month, I'm going to put it at the very top. Not because of that. I like the story behind it. How it goes based off your emotions. As we saw with Din Djarin in the Book of Boba Fett, the more you think and the more emotions you have, the heavier it gets, the heavier it gets. But the less emotion you have and you let go, and you don't have many thoughts piling up in your head, you can actually control the lightsaber, and it's a lot lighter, and you just let your thoughts wield with the blade. So yeah, awesome. Count Dooku's lightsaber is going to go in C tier. I mean S tier, S tier, S tier. Yeah, I like the way it looks, and it's the first bent lightsaber we've seen. And when you think of it, you think of an old man getting his head decapitated by a 22-year-old Jedi. So yeah. Next, we have Cal Kestis' lightsaber. Now, his second lightsaber I really do like. It's going to go in A tier. I just like how this little end part right here and just how the lightsaber comes out of it. The blade comes out of this part, but it looks nice. Now, his first lightsaber, it's not the best. It really isn't. D tier is as low as I'm going to get it. I don't like it at all. I don't. This does not look great. Now we have Anakin's lightsaber. His second lightsaber is going to go into C tier. His first lightsaber, the Youngling Slayer 3000, is going to go into S tier. Now finally, last but not least, we have Ahsoka's lightsabers. Hers from the Clone Wars and hers from whenever she defeated the Inquisitor and killed him, took his lightsaber and then purified the kyber crystals, and now she has 2 white lightsabers. Now, her Clone Wars lightsabers I love, so they're going to go in S tier. Now, these are going to go in A. I don't really like them that much, so not as good as these, but I love Ahsoka, so A tier. So yeah, there you go. All lightsabers hilts from Star Wars ranked on a tier list from S to F. Bye. Today, my friends, I'm ranking every single Star Wars show on a tier list from S to F, S being the best and F being the worst. If you want to see me rank every single Star Wars movie, you can click that link in the description right now to actually go and watch that. But right now, we're ranking every single show. So, starting off with Star Wars Rebels. Now, Star Wars Rebels is an amazing show all around. You get to see Chopper and the best of the Ghost Crew. But we all know Chopper is the best of the Ghost Crew. So definitely an S tier show, most definitely. Now, what happens at the end when Kanan dies, that is definitely one of the saddest characters' death inside of Star Wars. But all in all, you have these rebels, the Ghost Squadron, who's trying to go and fight the Empire and help the people that are in need and go on, and they actually help in the rebellion, and they actually follow New Hope and all the other shows between. But yeah, Rebels is definitely an amazing show. If you want a show to go watch, definitely go watch Rebels. It is amazing. So definitely an S tier worthy show. Now, the Resistance. We're going to throw that into D tier. Now, the Resistance is about the Colossus. If you've never seen it, I've seen it twice, and I'll tell you what it's about. It's about this guy whose name is Kazuto Xiono, and Kazuto Xiono is a spy for the Resistance, and he goes on this little platform called the Colossus, which is a fueling station for which will become the First Order fueling station. And the whole point in about Season 1 is the First Order takes over this Colossus, and Kazuto Xiono is this spy who goes on and tells the Resistance, hey, we need help, but the help doesn't come. So in Season 2, he joins the Aces, which is the fighters of the Colossus, who tries to go on and defeat the First Order, which they do succeed in Season 2. And Kazuto Xiono stays and flies with the Aces. And yeah, they actually fully do defeat the First Order off the Colossus. And then the First Order goes on, as we've seen in The Last Jedi. Yeah, it takes place between Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So yeah, it's a decent show for D tier. D stands for decent. So yeah, I guess it's decent. I will say now the Clone Wars. Amazing. Better than Rebels. It is one of the best animated. Don't even have to explain why Clone Wars is amazing. Especially the Ahsoka arc when Ahsoka left the Jedi Order. That arc was amazing. In Season 7, we got introduced to my favorite show, which will be coming along in this video. I think we all know what my favorite show is, because I have a whole collection of Funko Pop, which is to that show. But yeah, okay, so anyway, we'll go to that. But yeah, the Clone Wars is an amazing show. My favorite arc is probably when Ahsoka left the Order. That had some deep emotion to it. And whenever Pong Krell start killing clones, and Captain Rex had to go on and help to kill him along with Fives. I think Fives was the one that actually killed him. But yeah, amazing show, most definitely. Now, Visions I've never seen because I don't like that animation style, but we'll put it in C tier. Yeah, I think C tier is definitely good. Now, The Mandalorian.
Another S tier show. This is what got Star Wars brought back to life after The Rise of Skywalker was a complete failure. This is what brought Star Wars back to life. Now, The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 were amazing. Season 1 was just him going on a bunch of jobs, and Season 2 was him fighting Moff Gideon in the Empire. Because the Empire, guess what? Moff Gideon took Grogu. And you know what? Who came along and saved Grogu was Luke Skywalker. Now, the Luke Skywalker hallway scene in that show was amazing, and it really was. It was definitely high peak Star Wars of all time, which was the Luke Skywalker hallway scene. Goes on to save Grogu and the Mandalorian and everyone on board that cruiser. And that was an amazing, amazing time. And then Season 3. I don't know why Season 3 gets a lot of hate. It's just the Mandalorian and their roots. And Season 3 just explains the Mandalorian on how they go on Mandalore and try and take back Mandalore. And then Moff Gideon shows up and tries to take it for himself because there's a lot of Beskar on there. But he actually ends up destroying it. But then Din Djarin and Bo-Katan Kryze goes on and finally kills Moff Gideon and takes back Mandalore, which we will probably see that in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie of next year. Next, Book of Boba Fett. D tier. Not a great show at all. It literally is a Mandalorian Season 2.5. That's what it is. It's literally a Mandalorian Season 2.5. Half of the episodes had Din Djarin in it. It wasn't even about Boba Fett at that point. Boba Fett had 3 episodes to himself, which was explaining how after the Sarlacc pit and how he survived with the Tusken Raiders. But no, 4 of the 7 episodes were about Din Djarin because they had no original idea who to put in. So guess what? They throw in Din Djarin, which was probably their best idea to save the Book of Boba Fett, because without Din Djarin, it went to complete failure. So yeah, D tier. Next is Kenobi. Yeah, I think B tier is definitely a good opportunity for a Kenobi. Now, Kenobi is, we get to see Obi-Wan from his weak to very strong point. There's a part where Obi-Wan and Darth Vader duel. In this first part, Obi-Wan is very weak. He's been on Tatooine for, I think, about 5, maybe 10 years at this point. He's been watching over Luke and make sure he's been doing everything right. And now the Inquisitors are after Obi-Wan. But Darth Vader is the main one who is after Obi-Wan as well. And they fight, and Obi-Wan is very weak, and Darth Vader actually goes on and burns Obi-Wan. But then a few episodes, the final episode of that show, is that Obi-Wan gets his strength back and cuts Darth Vader's mask in half, just like how Ahsoka did. And he actually sees that the one he trained, Anakin, is now gone, and Darth Vader took over Anakin Skywalker. Definitely, yeah. It was fairly short. It's the shortest show of Disney Star Wars there is, which is weird. But yeah, Tales of the Jedi, I would throw that in A tier. It tells the stories of Count Dooku and Ahsoka Tano. This actually takes place, which is cool. All of the Ahsoka and how she survived Order 66 is in here. But this is cool on how Kamino was erased, because this shows when Count Dooku entered the archives and went on and deleted Kamino from the archives. So it actually goes into the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and why Obi-Wan couldn't find Kamino, because Count Dooku, or Darth Tyrannus at this point, went on and actually cleared Kamino from the archives. So yeah. But yeah, this also explained how Ahsoka survived Order 66, because Anakin trained her hard and hard and hard just so she could survive Order 66 on her own, even though Anakin didn't really know that was going to happen. But when it did, Ahsoka was ready, and she was well ready for it. Next, we have Ahsoka. Speaking of Ahsoka, I love this show, because this brought back the Star Wars duels we all wanted. This brought back the duels we all wanted. Now, I love this show, but there is an episode of mine that we all know, which is episode 5, which is The Fallen Jedi. This shows Ahsoka fighting her past, and also we saw a live-action Clone Wars, which was sick. We saw a live-action Captain Rex, which was amazing. That was very, very cool. We have never seen a live-action Captain Rex, and that was cool. The 501st being in live-action, that was amazing. And then Hayden Christensen came back to play Anakin in this season. And then Season 2 apparently is going to have an all-out war with the Ghost Squadron and Thrawn. We got to see the return of Thrawn. All Ahsoka is basically a Season 5 of Rebels. I'm going to put it ahead of Mandalorian. But yeah, it's just Ahsoka is just a Season 5 of Rebels, because it continues on from Rebels and shows how Ahsoka trained Sabine. Then Ahsoka actually dies from Balin's skull, but then gets brought back to life after Anakin trains her in the world between worlds. So that was actually very cool as well. And now at the end, we see Thrawn return and Ezra return for an all-out war that is apparently going to happen in season 2, which is going to be fairly awesome as well. Anyway, next, do I have to explain why it's my favorite show? I love the Bad Batch. I love the Bad Batch. Now look at my wallpaper. It is the Bad Batch. Look, it's the Bad Batch. I love the Bad Batch very, very much. Especially season 2, episode 16. Well, the final episode of season 2 was very sad. We saw Tech die, which was... It made me cry every time I watched it. It's very, very sad whenever Tech dies in the Bad Batch. That's definitely the saddest character death. I know I said Kanan was, but Tech is definitely the saddest. I love the Bad Batch. It's S tier. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Now, a show I hate is The Acolyte. I would say The Last Jedi is better than The Acolyte. Don't even get me started on why I hate The Acolyte. But it is a terrible, terrible, terrible show. But anyway, Tales of the Empire, C tier. Tales of the Empire tell the story of 2 people of the Empire. We get to see Barriss Offee after Ahsoka got her back from framing her for the Jedi bombing. And then we see Morgan Elsbeth, which was the most random character to tell a story about. But yeah, let's just focus on Barriss Offee. Barriss Offee turns from an Inquisitor back to being good into this great Jedi who helps people during Order 66 and helps kids go on and go get saved from Order 66 because Inquisitors will be after them. That's pretty much the whole thing of Tales of the Empire. It was weird, okay? Now, Skeleton Crew. I love this show, actually, so we'll go and put it in A tier. About these four kids who go on an adventure about Adam, and then they go on an adventure because they can't find their home planet, and then they have this pirate with them who's secretly not a Jedi, but has a lightsaber, who knows the ways of the Force, but ultimately just wants to find Adam, which is these 4 kids' home, which I forgot the 4 kids' names, but you get what I'm trying to go on. They go on this whole adventure throughout the 8 episodes just trying to go back to their home planet, which is Adam, even though Adam is very secret and is this old Republic. At this point in the story, this is still a part of the High Republic era, which is Adam. They have no clue about the Empire that has fallen at this point, about the New Republic, which goes on and actually saves Adam from this pirate. Whenever they find their home planet, the pirate trust takes over and brings all these other pirates with them because Adam is full of gold. And the Old Republic. At the Old Republic credits are definitely, by I mean Old Republic, I mean the High Republic. High Republic credits are worth so much at this point. So they get these old pirates, but however, in all reality, this pirate loses everything because the New Republic shows up and saves Adam. But yeah, amazing. Now, I have no clue anything about the show because this show is not canon, so we'll throw it in E tier. So, yeah. Anyway, Andor, a masterpiece of storytelling, especially Season 1 and Season 2 so far, is a masterpiece of storytelling. I'll put it, heck, probably above Ahsoka, but not, I love the Bad Batch, so it's not going to get ahead of that. But yeah, Andor, especially the One Way Out segment, that is some amazing storytelling, and so far in Season 2, besides one point which I can't really talk about in YouTube videos that I don't really get why they introduced in Star Wars. I don't understand why they introduced that segment. Probably a lot of people understand that segment when I'm talking about in Season 2, and I think it was the final episode with Banks. That segment I don't really understand. It's very uncomfortable, and we get to see why the Empire is very, very evil in Season 2. And Season 2 is so far becoming master of storytelling. But yeah, now finally we have the Tales of the Underworld, which has not been at all, which just sounds amazing because we get to see the stories of Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane, but we have no clue, so I can't really judge that right now. But anyway, there's my tier list of every Star Wars show so far. So yeah. Bye.
Have you ever wondered what the worst hallway scene is in Star Wars? Well, coming at number 4 is Obi-Wan's hallway scene from the Kenobi series. After years of exile and self-doubt, Obi-Wan steps back into his role as a Jedi protecting Princess Leia and deflecting blaster bolts from stormtroopers. This scene is pivotal and marks a turning point for Obi-Wan as he begins to reconnect with the Force and his purpose.
While the scene is well shot and serves as important narrative purpose, it lacks the sheer intensity of the other hallway scenes. The stakes are personal rather than galactic, and Obi-Wan, while effective, isn't displaying the overwhelming mastery we see in other character moments. That said, the scene is a reminder of Obi-Wan's journey. It's not about dominating enemies, but about rediscovering the protector and peacekeeper he once was. Still, compared to the raw power and choreography of the other entries, this scene feels more like a stepping stone. Number 3, we have Darth Maul's terrifying rampage from the Clone Wars Season 7. Unlike the other characters on this list, Maul is unarmed, no lightsaber, no weapons, just his raw mastery of the Force and his insatiable rage. This scene takes place during the Siege of Mandalore, one of the most dramatic arcs in Star Wars animation, as Maul tries to escape the clones who have turned on him due to Order 66. This is Maul as his most brutal, from ripping panels off walls to using clone troopers as shields. He shows his resourcefulness and his sheer will to survive. It's not about heroics or even domination, it's about survival and revenge. The choreography in the scene is visceral, showing Maul's primal nature and his unique combat style. While it's thrilling to watch a highlight of the Clone Wars, it doesn't quite have the iconic status or emotional weight of the top 2 entries. Second place is Luke Skywalker's triumphant return in The Mandalorian Season 2. This scene has become legendary as fans finally got to see Luke in his prime, fully embracing his role as a Jedi Master. When that lone X-Wing arrives, the atmosphere shifts. You know something big is about to happen. Luke's moments are precise and methodical. Stark contrast to the overwhelming chaos of Maul or the terror of Vader. He fights with elegance, his green lightsaber cutting through dark troopers like butter. This scene mirrors Vader's hallway scene in Rogue One, but instead of fear, it inspires hope. Luke is a symbol of what a Jedi should be, calm, controlled, and unstoppable. Beyond the action, the emotional payoff of the scene is incredible. It's not just about Luke's power, it's about what he represents to the galaxy and to the audience. It's a moment fans waited decades to see, and it delivered on every level. But as great as this is, there's one hallway scene that remains unmatched. Finally, at number 1, we have the scene that redefined Darth Vader as a force of pure terror. The hallway scene from Rogue One is not just the best Star Wars scene, it is one of the greatest moments in all of Star Wars. This scene bridges the gap between Rogue One and A New Hope, showing Vader at the peak of his power. The theater, the sound design, the choreography, it's all perfect. Vader doesn't just fight, he hunts. The rebels are utterly helpless as he cuts through them with terrifying efficiency. The scene is shot but unforgettable, leaving you with a renewed fear of the Dark Lord of the Sith. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just a fight, it's a movement that sets the entire original trilogy in motion. The combination of tension, brutality, and Vader's sheer presence makes the undisputed king of hallway scenes. And that, my friends, is the worst to the best hallway scenes in Star Wars.